Croissant. A reminder that the reason why we have algorithmical-based content versus chronological content is because chronological content is very effective at organizing and getting good information out there. Corporations and the people in power absolutely can't stand this. These systems only understand engagement. Whether good engagement, bad engagement, it doesn't matter. Are people watching? Are people clicking? Yep, that's what they count on. Which is why this content strategy is very effective. So if you're someone uniquely interested in reducing the amount of harm in the world, you should stop quote tweeting and stitching problematic content. I can't think of a single smartphone that doesn't have the screen record or screenshot feature. You should make use of that. Because if your content is actively being suppressed and doesn't go anywhere, you don't get nothing but the original, all that sweet engagement. If Twitter has shown us anything, it is that deplatforming works both ways. Both ways. So let's please try to reduce harm. Also, that looks very tasty.
Hi, if you're anything like me, you're probably stressed the fuck out about the world right now. But you might not be comfortable owning the thing that goes bang for your own mental health reasons. And I'm here to give you some tips and suggestions and other hobbies that you can indulge in to help with that. First off, right off the bat, we have America's pastime, baseball. Woo. Who doesn't love throwing their baseball mitt and a baseball in the trunk of their car and going and hitting a few pop flies in the park every now and then? Also, do you ever have problems when you're changing your spare tire and you need extra leverage to get the existing tire off so that you can put the spare on? Certain long metal objects, like a crowbar for example, can be very useful in these circumstances. Gardening is another hobby that you may find entertaining in your down times. Many gardening implements can be large and unwieldy, but there are many smaller versions of those which you can purchase and always keep with a pair of gardening gloves and one of those knee pads for your knees because you know you got bad knees. And, just make sure to always be wearing safety glasses when operating with some of those. And those are just a few. If you have more, leave them in the comments. For other hobbyists and enthusiasts of not dying.
Everyone acts like making ends meet is really hard, but they're also walking around with $1,000 phones in their pocket and drinking 2 $7 coffees a day. Well, the coffee thing you pulled out your ass because, like, Mr. Coffee. Poor people just make coffee in their kitchen. It's like $1/4 a cup or something. You're missing the trees for the forest. What about that $1,200 phone they're carrying around? No, yeah, I agree with you there. That's way too expensive for poor people to buy, which is why they fucking don't. If they don't do a trade-in for half the price on the cheapest new phone, then they're buying an old phone for half the price or less. And since the phone has the internet, which is a necessity in modern times, as well as being like a phone, you're actually saving money on the cell phone compared to home internet and landlines. Well, your facts and reality go against my opinion, so I'm gonna ignore you and just pretend that I'm right about this, and poor people are lazy and deserve it.
Did you know that square dancing was used as a tool of white supremacy in the US? It's true. And who was the mastermind that wanted to convince the masses to do-si-do their way into total Aryan domination? Henry Ford. I'm Dara Star Tucker, and this is The Breakdown. If you attended middle school in the United States as recently as the early 2000s, there's a good chance that your gym class strangely involved lessons in square dancing. What an odd thing to be teaching in school, right? Well, this is a tradition that goes back almost 100 years and is rooted in the fears that many white people had at the time of the supposedly corrupting influence of black music and dance in America, which supposedly was promoted by the Jews. Yeah. But Henry Ford, yes, that Henry Ford, had a solution for it all: square dancing.
To the center and back to your team. Now, ladies, to the center and you circle the lane.
Now, Henry Ford was a notorious anti-Semite. When the newspaper he owned, called the Dearborn Independent, was experiencing waning sales in the early 1920s, he published a series of pamphlets called The International Jew to promote his anti-Semitic ideas to increase circulation. When they were translated into German, Adolf Hitler became a big fan of Ford's. He kept a copy of The International Jew and a portrait of Ford in his office. Now, the 1920s and 30s would come to be known as the Jazz Age. Black American music and dance, rooted in jazz and blues, were exploding into America's white middle class. Many white Americans didn't really know what to do with the sounds that they were hearing. Kind of like rock and roll in the 50s or rap in the 80s. In a very short time, Black American music had shifted popular music and dance expression from this to this. Henry Ford felt that jazz, with its driving rhythms and devilish blue notes, was contributing to America's moral decline. He called it monkey talk and jungle squeals. He had somehow gotten the idea that Jewish people were manipulating black people into creating this music to destroy white America so that Jewish people could take over as the dominant race. Ugh, I know, I'm just the messenger. Ford decided that the best way to stave off this corrupting influence was to promote what was then known as hillbilly music, later renamed country and western. He put a ton of money into sponsoring fiddling contests and square dances all over the country. He even got many school systems to incorporate square dancing into their curriculum. Henry Ford is a big part of why country music is so popular today. Because of this influence, many states to this day still call square dancing their official state dance. The irony of all of this is that American square dancing was significantly influenced by the legacy of slavery. Enslaved people were often the callers who prompted dancers to swing their partners round and round. This hadn't been a part of the art form before that. Black Americans also created and performed a lot of the music used in those dances. So, as fate would have it, Henry Ford's racism actually helped to spread the influence of Black American music all around the world.
So I'm curious, what made you become a leftist? What radicalized you to the left? Oh, okay, I like talking about this. It was during the pandemic, we had to wear masks at work and everything, and I was getting paid about $8.47 an hour when a meal at the place I worked cost about $12 and it took about 2 minutes to make, to be honest. On top of that, I saw how people were just becoming filthy rich during the pandemic, getting billions and billions of dollars while people were losing their jobs and homes. I also saw how, right-wingers tend to treat LGBT people and, minorities and how they speak about them really disrespectfully. Then I started learning about how, certain things like bigotry are perpetuated by the ruling class in order to keep the working class divided. I would see my parents work long hours just to pay for our house, just to pay for food, water, our basic needs. And yeah, but what about you? What radicalized you to the right? Oh man, you won't believe this. Bro, one time I was driving down the street and I saw a black guy sagging his pants. Oh, okay, is that it? Psh, I wish that was it. Bro, one time a dude in a dress came up to me and told me to call him a her. Can you believe that? I guess. And that ain't even the worst part of it, bro. Bro, one time, I went to go comment the N-word on Twitter, and I got banned. Can you believe that shit? They're taking away our freedom of speech. Right.
We should house the homeless. We should feed the hungry. And we should heal the sick for free. I don't know. What do you think?
You dead ass right now?
What do you think?
Fuck poor people.
Yeah.
was like, who doesn't hate gypsies? And then everybody on the show was like, we're with you. But afterwards, they found out. And they reached out. Like the president of the gypsies sent me a message. I guess she stole someone's phone.
Wow, your joke is that everyone hates us and we steal. How original. No, truly, I haven't heard that one before. This isn't dark humor, it's blatant racism. It's not anything new, we've been hearing it for the past 1,000 years. And this is from a Netflix show. This is the type of racism that Netflix allows on its platform.
The thousands of gypsies that were killed by the Nazis, no one ever wants to talk about that because no one ever wants to talk about the positives.
That viral clip was from another Netflix comedy show. Again, just blatant racism. Not even original at that. Netflix is a company that prides itself on diversity and inclusion. It gives platforms to comedians like these, in principle supporting their message. Netflix, do better. Yes, we are a race, and our name is Romani. The G word is actually a racial slur towards our people that comes from the European misconception that we come from Egypt because of our skin color. It was created to ostracize and dehumanize us from society because of our foreign origin and skin tone, and it is still used like that to this day. Our actual name is Romani people. The name Romani comes from ancient India, and so do our people. We left India just short of 1,000 years ago and maintained our culture and our Indic language to this day. Because historically our culture did not allow mixing with non-Roma, people are still majority South Asian in DNA. However, Romani people have many diverse ethnicities and cultures within our race, with their own dialects and regional practices, however united by our shared origin and culture. Race is a social construct. It was invented by Europeans in the Middle Ages. This book by Dr. Geraldine Heng explores the Romani ethno-racial identity and how from the point when race was invented, Romani was seen as a race that was on the other side of whiteness. The other uses of the G word are derived from racist and or fetishized stereotypes towards Roma.
Stop using the fucking AI filters. You're helping the surveillance apparatus get better at recognizing human faces. All of these social media companies make money by selling your data. And sometimes they sell it to the federal government, which can include Immigration Customs Enforcement, the FBI, the Secret Service, the military abroad, etc. If you don't like the idea of the government being able to surveil you easier and faster than ever before, stop putting your names and faces into these fucking AI generators. You never need to do the Fed's job for them. Stop letting them predict what your future child will look like. Stop letting them see the inside of your house and auto-correct it when you turn the screen away. And stop letting them turn you into a cartoon character. Because when your government starts doing war crimes, and they all do in the end, you will regret it.